Hello and welcome to my Sim Racing Corner, and this is my review for the Fanatec CSL pedals with the load cell brake pedal upgrade. I've owned these since launch and have been using them since then, so a decent amount of time for me to make my assessment. After watching this review, check out the description for links to my additional related videos on these and other pedal sets. We have an unboxing and a first impression drive and talk video you may also find useful. Before we dive into their performance, let me take this pedal set onto my table and I'll show you the features. The pedals arrive flat packed, so you do need to attach them to the heel plate and plug in some wires. Full instructions are provided, a straightforward procedure taking no more than 10 minutes. Being an entry-level pedal set and priced accordingly, the CSL pedals and heel plate are made from pressed steel sheet parts, a simple and cheap manufacturing process. The gas and clutch pedal are tensioned with torsion springs and feature magnetic sensor inputs. Magnetic sensors are non-contact. This ensures reliability as they are non-wearable parts and not affected by dust or dirt buildup, so require no maintenance. The curved pedal faces are plastic. The pedal faces can be unscrewed and vertically height adjusted. The clutch pedal features a rubber bumper. This is a throwback element if you buy the basic 2 pedal set. This pedal in that configuration is then the brake pedal, hence this rubber bumper to add resistance. The rubber piece is removable, but I left it in. The brake pedal uses a load cell sensor that sits in front of a stack of elastomer spacers and hard plastic washers. Elastomers are a type of hard wearing flexible polymer and here provide the brake pedal resistance instead of metal springs. Each pedal is held to the heel plate by 4 screws. You will notice the 2 lines of screw holes spanning the plate, so you can adjust the spacing for a close or wide pedal arrangement. The final part of assembly is plugging in the cables and connecting the pedals together. Also worth mentioning is the CSL pedals can be plugged directly into a Fanatec wheelbase or standalone via USB to your PC. So technically you don't need a Fanatec wheelbase to use these pedals. They will work quite happily with any other brands of wheelbase on PC. So of course that's a PC only thing, you can't do this on console. So if you own a Logitech or Thrustmaster wheelbase and you're looking to upgrade your pedal set, you can use these Fanatec CSL pedals quite happily with your wheelbase. Take note of the rubber feet and hard mounting points. The threaded sleeves on the heel plate are only accessible from underneath, so if you have to drill new mounting holes into your pedal plate, you will need to make a drilling template to line them up. Use the Fanatec control panel to test and adjust the pedal settings. I'm testing each pedal first just to make sure there are no spikes or jitter. I found no problem here. Everything seems dead on. If you need to adjust the dead zone at the beginning or end of the pedal throw, you can do that here. Press and hold the pedal position and then click the min or max icon to lock it in. And finally, the braking force percentage setting. Moving the slider alters the weight required to engage 100% braking. The load cell is rated at 80 kilograms, which means at 100% braking force, at least on paper, should mean you need to push 80 kilograms of physical force into the pedal for maximum braking. I don't think it's quite as clear cut as that though. At 100% braking force, I wasn't able to manage 100% braking no matter how hard I pushed into that pedal, and I was pushing really hard against the back of my seat, full body weight. Potentially the tolerance between each load cell sensor means it's not a guaranteed measure, but I will say that load cell can take a lot of weight, more than enough for most people out there, I would fully expect. Now on the track for testing and my observations. My first impression of these pedals is they are solidly built. Fanatec have used the materials very smartly despite the basic construction of cut folded sheet steel. It just works. The pedal throw is the only motion present, there is no pedal arm flex or side to side wobble. I can really slam down on the pedals, they feel sturdy under my feet. It's a reassuring, robust sensation. Another sensation is the feedback from the pedals themselves when we press on them. I must say they are not that exciting in this respect. They are quite bland feeling. The simple design of the pedals reflects the basic texture of feedback from them, or lack of texture in this case. When you consider that these pedal arms are simple levers with torsion springs, it is what it is, and indeed when I first got them mounted onto the sim rig, my very first impression of the pedals was they are quite dull feeling. Yeah, pretty boring really, and I covered this in my first impression drive and talk video in some detail. Now, having used them for several weeks since making that video, I will say I have got past that and it's not something that bothers me or I even think about. The reality is, it doesn't affect their performance as a pedal set, it's not going to make me any slower. Moving now on to the all-important load cell brake pedal. The brake of course operates differently to the gas and clutch pedals. We've already covered this earlier, but just to recap, a load cell is a weight measuring sensor. Applying pressure to the brake pedal and the weight is converted into braking force in the game, effectively emulating how a real brake operates. And the Fanatec load cell brake is functioning like every other load cell brake I've used. Muscle memory is converted into consistent and repeatable effective braking. I can't fault the brake in that function. Within a few laps I was comfortable using it, and within an hour or so my sights were fully zeroed and braking was natural and instinctive. Of course, do understand, I've been using load cell brakes for years, therefore for me, picking up another pedal set, I can adjust quite quickly. Besides just muscle memory, the pedal itself moves as weight pressure is applied, and that's another element of feedback from the pedal to help you feel the braking force. The more pressure input, the pedal moves more and becomes stiffer, just like a real brake. Technically, a brake using a load cell sensor doesn't need any motion at all. As long as the load cell is behind the pedal, you push into it, it's going to weigh the pressure regardless. But for the sake of realism and sensation, you need some movement there. You can observe the brake travel is short, and short pedal travel is expected with a load cell brake pedal. The overall pedal travel and progressive stiffness is completely affected by the materials used behind the pedal. Fanatec haven't invented anything new here. Using elastomers is pretty standard stuff. Fanatec have opted to use 4 short elastomers separated by plastic washers. You can also see there is no soft preload section. This gives the pedal a very firm feel from the very beginning to the very end of the narrow travel. It's very stiff, lacking much in the way of progressive build-up due to this layout. Now let's take a moment and watch this clip of my Hussenfeld Pro brake, also using elastomers but featuring longer pieces of elastomer, and we also have more pedal travel. And this pedal has an excellent feel of progressive build-up. The pedal starts out soft and the firmness builds up. And with that feedback from the pedal, it feels natural, especially when modulating light and medium braking, directly using that variable feeling of stiffness coming from the pedal to apply very accurate braking. Since the CSL pedals use short elastomer pieces, limiting compression, that narrows the range of progressive feel. It starts out stiff and finishes very stiff, rather than a gradual build-up. I found the brake was best used with shoes or trainers to raise my heel and get as much leverage at the top of the pedal. This improves the feel a lot. With socks, the brake felt solid and completely numb. So let that be a warning, guys. If you use socks with your pedals, be prepared for that, as you may not like these pedals because of this. Investing some time on their placement is always important for any pedal set. And I would recommend you hard mount these pedals to a solid pedal deck that doesn't flex, and ideally get some angle to them so these pedal faces are vertical. This helps to extract the most out of them. I covered a lot of detail there to hopefully help you understand what these pedals are like to use. It may determine their suitability for your particular needs. You could be thinking, I'm not liking these pedals because some of the things I've described. That's actually not the case. At the end of the day, they prove to be a solid and reliable set of pedals, and I already told you I did get up to speed with them pretty quickly. As much as I'm not blown away by how they feel under my feet, I'm still applying my muscle memory learned skill on the track, and they performed absolutely fine. Quite frankly, they worked well enough that I have no objection if I was to continue using them. I may prefer my Hussenfeld Pro pedals, but honestly, I don't think they provide a technical advantage on track. I'm quite sure my lap time consistency and car control would be about the same with either set of pedals, and that does send a very clear and positive message. But I do think Fanatec could have done a better job with those elastomers. It's not really a cost issue, it's a cheap part. They could have arranged better for an improved sensation of progressive resistance, and maybe doubling that pedal travel as well. The optimum setup for a load cell brake is when you get a balanced combined feeling from your leg muscles tensing along with the build-up of resistance and movement from the pedal as it compresses. And that balance of progressive resistance is the element that isn't quite there. I would have liked it to feel much softer at the beginning of the pedal travel, and the resistance spread over a longer throw of the pedal as well. At least that's my opinion on this matter. Having read feedback on the Fanatec forums from other owners of these pedals, I can tell you I'm not the only one that has this opinion. So guys, just make sure you do your research before clicking the buy button. This is something I do want to revisit with a Model 2 and see what we can do and improve that brake feel. So that's something for the future, so stay tuned, that will be for a future video. So wrapping up this review, overall the Fanatec CSL pedals with the load cell brake performed very well, and the price to performance seems about right on target. They are sturdy and I'm pretty sure they will last a long time. Essentially they get the job done as far as I'm concerned. Being cheaper pedals, they are going to lack refinement and adjustability that of more expensive pedals can offer. That's fair enough. It's a trade-off at this price point. So, not perfect, but pretty good really, and certainly good enough for the asking price, I'd say. And that ends my review for the Fanatec CSL pedals with the load cell brake upgrade. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this one useful, and thank you for your support for subscribing to my channel. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with something new. So until next time, happy simming and bye bye.